Are you, whoa,
I'm
no pressure.
well, I'm just
Okay.
following this, guys, just in case you guys need to have this in the future. So I'll put this up and send this over after we're done with this session, in case you need to,
Nice.
you know, learn a little bit.
Yeah, or if not, you could just ask me questions. I'm not doing much. But okay, so you open it first. To open it, you're pretty much just gonna click it as you do, and then it's gonna load up with this beautiful photo of a motorcyclist in a curved room. And then you're gonna see a screen that looks a little, it's still loading, like this. Since we are making a new project, you feel free to press the new project button on the side of your screen. You're gonna open to a window like this, looks somewhat intimidating. You don't need to use most of these settings because you can mess with them later. So, preferably title it. I'm gonna call this Intersession Training. And then you can choose where you want to save. I have mine already saving where I want them to. So you could just browse and choose where you want to save that. And then for this whole general box, that's pretty much whenever you import your videos or your audios, those will automatically adapt to whichever ones you upload, so you don't really need to worry about those when you start your project yet. And so then whenever you get there, you can press OK, and then your entire screen will just appear in front of you. And just before I start the literal training, feel free to like interrupt me anytime and just be like, Jessica, do it again, or Jessica, like, what does that mean? Or things like that, because yeah, this is a very relaxed environment. So this is like your, hang on, let me get, the tab that you're most likely going to stay in, or at least the one that I'm mainly going to teach from here for the most of the basic skills, is editing. So along this top bar of the screen here, there's like a lot of learning, assembly, color effects, so we're going to click on editing. So then this is easier to explain once there's a video there, so these don't just look like big gray boxes. So first thing we're going to do is learn how to import your media. So you can either, there's many ways to do a lot of this, so that's why like mattering who you learn it from, you're going to like know different methods, so I'm trying to teach you like multiple, I guess. So one way to do it, you can either press File and then Import, or you could just go here and do like right click, import, or there's tons of keyboard commands that are real fancy, which is just Control I. So I just press Control I, so I have this video that popped up. Then you just select as many as you want to import. I'm just gonna do one for the sake of like simplicity. These are old videos that we got from Casa. So let's see, what's some random, we'll do this one. So you click it, you can select them, and then it imports. So where this video just appeared, pretty much call that whatever you want, I guess. But these are your bins, these are your libraries, this is where your media is being kept. And so, yeah, I don't know. Any questions on like those things? Anyone having trouble like getting it started before I keep going? I'll take that as a
Um,
no. Oh,
I'm sorry.
oh, you're good. Go for it.
My Premiere Pro just opened. My Wi-Fi is kind of bad today, but all we have to do is we open a new project and we just name it, right?
You title it and you choose where you want it to be saved.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yep. I got it.
Nice. And then, so what? Just like to learn more about these settings, we're just gonna like double click this video. So when you double click a video or like select a video that's in your library, it's gonna appear in this window, your top window on your left. So this is either your source screen or your preview screen, or many different names. I usually call it a preview screen because I'm used to like TriCaster stuff, but that's something else. So with this screen, there's a lot of things you could do, mainly, as the name suggests, you could preview the video, you can just play through it. She puts her cat, well no, she goes in the washing machine, very exciting, waves. You can hear the audio, you can hear the sound, you can see the video. So as you can see, we'll talk about these buttons on the main row of this preview screen. So the one I'm currently on is the player pause button. Very familiar, we've grown up with these buttons, crazy. On the left or right of this button is to skip a singular frame. So like if I just want to go to the next frame, or back a frame. So if you just want to get like an exact timing for like certain edits or certain transitions, you just want something in a very specific frame, you can do that. Those also correspond to your arrow keys. So if you just want to do that with your left or right arrow keys, you can do that as well. This is called like scrubbing a video if you're just going through it. Now I'm not going to go through every single button on this, but the main ones that will help you, at least, or that you may use, are these two bracket looking buttons. They're called marking in, marking out. Basically, if you want to cut your video from the preview screen or want to like set it like where you want it to start, where you want it to finish, you can just press the one that looks like the open one to start, and then you could play through and be like, okay, I want it there. And you could press your space bar to stop if you want to, or press stop, whatever. If you have a mouse, you could click it, crazy. But yeah, and then you could mark out. So now I've selected only that section. So that is that main point of that preview screen. And so to get really into the main editing of things, where you're going to do all of this work, you're going to do it on your timeline. So as you can see in our bottom left corner here, it says timeline. It says drop media to create a sequence. So you can either drop media directly from your bins or your library, which is just dragging and dropping, or you can pull it straight from your preview screen, which is just selecting that image. So I'll drag it from the preview screen and just drop it right on the timeline. So right when you drop it on this timeline, it's going to look a little something like this. Is anyone need me to pause for a moment? I'll take that as no, Jessica. You're going too slowly. What is this? Got it, got it. So, when we drag and drop that video onto our timeline, you get two bars that represent the video and the audio. The video which is above the audio on this timeline, and then it appears in your program window. Your program window will only display, well, at least for now, will only display exactly what your edited timeline looks like. So this is how you would look through, basically, in most senses, what your final product will look like. As you can see, when I drag this little, like, scrubbing bar, it moves it both on the timeline and the video. Okay, and then somebody asked a question, how do you set the end of the mark-in? Because for me, mark-in just goes to the end of the original clip. So when you, hang on, let me get rid of my marks. I'll just set new ones. So let's say hang on, let me just select this again. When I'm going through it, if I hit like, hang on, no, I'll just get rid of, hang on, let me just go back for a moment, just so I can show you what it looks like without marks. Okay, so like if I'm playing through, and if you only set a beginning mark, then it will go all the way to the end of your clip because it assumes like, oh, you just wanted to cut the beginning. You know, so if you do want to cut the beginning, that's one way to cut the beginning, even though there are other ways I'll teach you. But it will go to the end. That's what mark out is for, so that's what the button next to it is. So then you could keep playing and say like, okay, I want it to end there. And then you have an end point for that. And then also, if you just wanted to take the audio of this clip or just the video, that's what these two little buttons are under it. So if you're just like, oh, I want to like repeat that audio, you can just drag that straight onto your timeline or something. Okay, and then as for this timeline, this is where all the magic happens. This is where it goes down. So, let me just move my little zoom box out of the way. So this bottom bar is a very interesting scroll bar that I was very confused about when I found the first time. So you can either move it left to right to scroll left and right on your, timeline, or you can pick the endpoints to zoom out or zoom in. There's other ways to zoom out and zoom in, but this is just one option. The same functionality goes for these two sidebars. You could extend and like make your audio look big so you could see all the peaks and valleys. Or you can make your video look big and you can see, I don't know, like just the thumbnails. But yeah, let me just fix these to look like how they usually look. Okay, so within this timeline, if you want to move stuff around the timeline, you really just click it and drag it. So I can move this down here, over there. You can spread it out. I can bring that audio down. I can bring the video up. The timeline is pretty much just like a sandwich, where whatever's on top, if you're stacking videos, and that's what you're going to see. So like if I put a video on top of this one on like that bar, you're gonna see that one. If I change the opacity, then you'll see like a faded version of that one with the other one under it. Like it's pretty much like you're literally stacking them. And so other things you can do on the timeline. So these white bars on the video and the audio that you can see if you like expand them a bit. So the one on the audio that like when you hover over it, it gives you like a little 2 arrows in a line that you can see on my mouse right now. If you click and drag it, that's one way you can change the volume of your audio just really quickly if you're in the timeline. So if you drag it up, you're throwing that audio up, making it louder. If you drag it down, you're making it softer, and so on and so forth. If you do that with the video, that changes your opacity. So like as I drag that down, that video gets less and less opaque. If I drag it up, it's full opacity. You can't really go past full opacity. But yeah, and then other ways, so some people like to crop their videos inside the preview window. Other people prefer to do it directly in the timeline. So what it looks like directly in the timeline is, let me just make these better sizes. When you hover over the end or the beginning of your video, you get a red icon as your cursor. So this looks like a bracket with an arrow. So if you click that, you can just drag the end of your video wherever you want. So you can either extend it, even though this is already at the full length of the video, so I can't extend it right now, or you could pull it back to be shorter. And inside your program window, it'll show you exactly where you're about to cut it and how many seconds and like what frame that looks like. And you could do the same thing to the beginning. I could drag it in and make it shorter this way. And then, you know, move it around, so on and so forth. Crazy. Editing. Any questions about stuff like that? Is it working for everyone?
Wait, what did you say about the volume and opacity? How did you adjust those?
Okay, so those are just white lines. So there's other ways to adjust them, but if you're in the timeline, if you hover over this white line that's over the audio, a little icon appears to know you're on top of it, which is like the little line with the arrows. And you can click that and drag it up and down. So like, hang on, for example, if I just play through this audio, another feature is on the far bottom right of your screen, those are your audio levels. And like, it'll show colors for like how loud they are. So if I play through this, those are like some lower green levels. If I throw up this line to all the way to the top of this audio, you know, we hit like yellows or things like that. Or you could make this completely silent. But then again, if you want it completely silent, you could delete your audio, which will be the next thing I explain. Is there any other questions before? Dun, 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 dun. Someone says, why do I see the white line for the video, but why don't I see the white line for video? Okay, that's something I don't know if it was there for everyone, because I think I might have added it. So if it's not there for you, I could probably work with, does everyone not have the white line on video?
Wait, say that again?
Does anyone have this white line on their video? That's fine. I'll cheat you the other way to change opacity then, because I'm pretty sure I added that myself, just because I use it so much. But yeah, I'll just show you that in the effects window. But yeah, so any other questions other than that?
So if you mark a video like in the top left corner, can you like delete that section, or like what?
You can drag the marks if you want to change it. You can just place, like, you can just ignore the ones that are there and make new ones. So let's say no mark in here, and then you could play to there, and then you have new marks.
Okay. Can you like delete the marked section, or do you have to do that in the like bottom section?
I'd say if you did want to delete a middle section, probably the best way would to be like mark the beginning and then stop it whenever you want to cut, drag that in, and then drag in your second half.
Okay.
Or you could do that directly in the timeline again. Some people like it in the timeline because it's way more like visual. They could see the bar, they could see it being cut. But yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. And then, so as you can see, when I drag my video, this isn't, for some reason, I don't know, some people's settings don't start the same way. But when I drag my video, my audio moves with it. So for some people, those are always unlinked, but most of the time you're gonna have to unlink them yourself. So let's say I just wanted to like offset the audio or offset the video, or even delete just the audio or just the video. You can right click And there's a button under enable that says unlink. I probably could just make them always unlinked, but I prefer to do it myself. And then when I press that, they're unlinked. So I could just drag the audio, or I could just drag the video, or you could also do this if I want to like stack the video on top of something else but leave the audio down there, or like do things like that. For now, I'm just going to delete the audio. Well, I'll leave it there just in case I need to explain stuff with it. But yeah, okay, next thing I'm going to go over is this little middle, I guess it's not directly in the middle, but in between your library and your timeline, there's a little vertical bar called Toolbox, whatever. It's where all the tools are. So your cursor is what you always want to be in if you want to be clicking and dragging stuff, if you want to be just not doing anything special, you know, just clicking the buttons. I'm not going to explain all of these, but just the main ones that you're going to need. You can also like customize this section. Well, no, not this one, but the other ones. So the razor tool looks like an image of a razor blade. When you click that, that is, let me make this bigger. That is like scissors. That is just anywhere you place that and click, that is going to cut the video there. So like that, I was hovering over the video, I clicked it, it split my video. But you can do the same with the audio. Let's say, oh, there's like a jump there in the audio, I'm just going to cut it there, or things like that if you need something separate. But yeah, that's what that does. The other tool that I use a lot that I'll explain is this pen tool. So pen will be better explained when I get to the effects window, but I mainly use it on these lines. So let's say, because you all have an audio line, if you wanted to fade in the audio, there is like transitions you could do, but if you want to do it by hand, or let's say you just want to like cut out a part of the audio, there's many ways to do it. One way is with the pen. If you click on that line with this pen, a dot appears. Whoa, crazy, a dot, I know. And you can put as many dots as you want on this line. I'm just going to put 2 for now, and then switch back to my mouse. So if I click on one of my dots, it moves just that segment of the line. It's like putting points on this line. So let's say like I drag down that first one, now the audio is going to fade in up to whatever level that other dot is on, you know, or let's say and then you can also like fade out or like spike it or things like that. There's just one way to like by hand change the volumes of your audio if you want like things like that. You can do the same thing. Of course, you guys don't have it, but if any of you really want it, I can help you some other time to get this bar on your video. You can do the same thing with opacity. This is one way to fade in a video, but I'll leave that off mine just because you guys don't have it. But yeah, any questions about this toolbar?
I don't think the thing with the pen works for me, or maybe I just don't have a setting that allows that to happen with the audio.
What happens when you click the line? What do you have a pen tool?
Nothing. I do have a pen tool.
Okay.
Nothing happens when I click over the audio or anything.
What about, are you directly on the line?
Hold on. Oh, okay. I just had to zoom in. Never mind.
Oh, great.
Hey,
But yeah.
Hey, Jessica, I'm gonna make everybody in here a co-host, so that way you, if anybody needs to share their screen, they can, so that way they can show you what they're looking at. Okay.
Nice. Okay. I'm gonna move on to the effects window because I keep on vaguely mentioning it. So the effects window is a slightly intimidating window that looks like that you mainly like people get intimidated by when they're editing because they're like, settings, like I don't want to mess those up. I'm not trying to this is like one of the most fun windows to play with. So hang on, let me turn on my little annotating so you can see my mouse better. It's a little red dot now. You guys can see that, right? Okay, great. So this is the effects window. All I did to get here, there's multiple ways to get here, but the easiest one is this is a preview. Right next to it, there's a little bar that says effects controls. And boom, I'm in the effects window. There's 2 tabs here. The master doesn't really have effects, but if you click on your own personal, like this video that you're on currently, you open this whole window. Let's see, I'm going to only do what I need to explain for now, so I don't go like overtime or anything, but this is another tiny timeline of this video. It scrolls over a lot to make it to the end, but yeah. I guess this one doesn't need to. But all of these settings are basically just the properties of your video currently. So the position of your video, this is in like pixels? I don't know. It's in pixels, pretty sure. So whenever you hover over either of these numbers, you get a little, it's like a invisible slider bar appears. So like there's little arrows on my little hand. So if you click those and drag those for position, your video is going to move. So if I click and drag this first one, that moves my X, like as if there's an X axis. It's moving my video side to side. So if I just throw it over here and then press play, it's just over there playing. So if I just move that and leave it, that makes it a new property of the video. It's going to keep it there the whole time. So I'm just going to press Control Z to undo that, because that is our undo command. If we do it the other way, that's your y-axis. You can go up, down, so on and so forth, move it there. It'll stay there. Dun, dun, dun. Great. Okay. Same thing with scale. Scale is just like, you know, whoa, looky. Whoa, I'm zooming into the center. Whoa, it's really tiny. That kind of concept. If I do that, it'll stay there. Of course, like, we might sacrifice some quality of the video here, but. So those are the main ones in motion. So what you can also do with those is, let's say I want to have this video, we'll just say a zoom, even though like you don't need to zoom by hand. But like, let's say you want to do like a comedical zoom specifically on her face when she turns to the camera, okay? So let's pick a moment to just be like, I want to zoom in on her face. So before we pick a moment, what we have to do is we have to press this little clock. So this little clock over here is like, it says toggle animation. It sets a keyframe. So keyframes are the equivalent of little dots on the line that I was, like with the pen tool that I was doing earlier. So if I click on this clock, it's kind of hard to see because I put it directly at the beginning of this video, but there is a little keyframe peeking out trying to say hello. It is in fact a diamond, but you can only see half of it. So that just sets whatever settings I had at that point in the video, whenever I clicked that, like whenever I changed them for that point, it said, okay, like at this point in this, at this time on this video, those settings will be there. So let's say I move my timeline down to, hang on, let me move my zoom window again, to when I want it to be on her face. Let's say right then, I want it on her face. Then for that, I'm going to say, okay, now we need to set it exactly how I want it to look at that moment. So at that moment, I want to zoom in. I'm just going to play with this, drag these around until it's just on her face. Great, we're going to call that good. It is in fact on her face. So it set a second keyframe. So what it's going to do now is it is going to slowly move gradually all of those settings from the first keyframe to the second keyframe to get you there. So since we set our first keyframe so far back, it's going to look like a very slow zoom over the entire video to her face. Hopefully. Ah, I forgot. Okay, guess what Jessica did wrong? Anyone know what Jessica did wrong and why it doesn't look right?
You have to toggle the scale time thing.
Ding, ding, ding. Jessica did not set the clock for her scale. So what we're going to do is we'll just set it there and dun, 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 set it there. And then I'm just going to change, hello. I'm just going to change this one to be vaguely normal. Okay. There we go. That's what we have now. And so that's how you change position and scale. There's also other ones, but those you can play with on your own if you want to. And now this is where you would do opacity without the line per se, because opacity is one of these properties of the video. So this is where you can do your dots in your effects window and things like that. So opacity already has a timer clicked on it and things like that. So if I set a keyframe, also these little dots that I'm hovering over can manually put another keyframe. So if I click that, it puts a keyframe. And then if I put it to the end, I don't know, set it to like 0, it sets another one, and now it looks kind of interesting. Very mysterious, very vague, yes. But yeah, and then also if you really want to get into your audio editing, right next to this effects controls when you found it is audio clip mixer. That's more mixing, and that is stuff that Kevin and Bill know. I don't touch that. So, any questions about this effects window? I'm gonna take that as a not yet. Great. So, hang on, I need to undo some of these settings before I go into like the 2 other things I want to explain. Oh, I feel bad. I think I'm going over time. It's good. It's good. We've got more days.
You're doing great, Jessica.
I'm just gonna touch on 2 windows. So outside the editing window that I go to, there's graphics. So if you want to add text, if you want to add things like that, you gotta go to the graphics window. Oh my god, that's such a good transition. I'm not there yet, but that's fine. To add the graphics, hang on, let me just resize this. You just click it, drag it, boom, it's there, loads it. Whoa, your name here. If you want to edit it, there's a little edit button right next to browse of your essential graphics. First, you have to select the graphic. And so if you click on these 2 are layered, meaning one's on top of the other. If you click on one, it gives you all the properties of this text. You can change the font, you can change the size, you can have a drop shadow, kind of tacky, but I like them. Size, placement of this text, things like that, rotation. Usually to edit the text, you want to find your little toolbar again, click the type text tool, and click directly on the text. It's kind of trippy in the sense that there's no cursor, like there's no flashing cursor. There is sometimes, but I usually don't have one, so I just start typing to see where I am. And we'll just type, I don't know, Team Kevin. And yeah. That's all I'm going to say about graphics. We'll get into it more if you want it. I'm also just going to open one tab and then not explain it, because pretty much Eugene is going to explain it because it's like the same as Photoshop, is this color window. So this color window is, let me go to what you would see when you open it, it's just a lot of settings that are the same as Photoshop in like the image, so to speak. So if I want to change the temperature, if I want to change, let me select the actual video for a moment. Make sure you select the right things. Now I'm on the video and not the graphic. You can just change all the things about it. Whoa, crazy. There's a lot of fun things you do, you know? Like creative. I can make this friggin' colors. Yes, Kevin. You raised your hand.
Did you discuss, I mean, I'm watching this, but did you discuss also that in effects that there is actual like film stock stuff, like filtered stock stuff that you could utilize for video?
You mean like...
Yeah, like the ones that are already basically done for you.
Like faded film and stuff, or the... Oh,
yeah.
No, the effects. Okay, well, in colors there's faded film and stuff, but as for other effects, I mainly... You can either go to the literal effects tab, click. All these little folders expand to show you many effects that are very fun. I'd say how I mainly learned to use those is just have some fun with it, just drag them and see what they do. There's video transitions, you can drag the beginning or end of videos, video effects that change like how it looks. So this is where you'd find like you could make it look older, you could make it look like, I don't know, like all those weird trippy music video effects. Some of them you can find here.
If you go up to Lumira, the second one with the presets, those are you have film stock, different things you can layer on top of your video to make it look a little differently. It kind of it kind of makes it just a little bit more like film based if you're using camera like that. Also, I mean, she's right. I mean, my big thing is the video transitions down there. I love them. Dissolve's kind of one of my favorite ones, but if you're doing something with film, you can do something more creative. Obviously, you're not really limited to just cross dissolve. There's a bunch of things in there. Also, one thing is I will be putting into the chat window when you guys are done is green screen effects, because green screening, especially when you're in a area where you do not have the ability to do much, like right now, just getting a simple piece of paper that's green or a green sheet or even a blue sheet, you can do keying with green screening, and then I'll put that into it since I know that you guys are almost about done editing. But it's I would say the best advice I would say is go to Adobe. Adobe has hundreds and hundreds of tutorial guides. They're pretty good. They're very short. So that's one way to learn if you are trying to do more advanced stuff. And you can type in like keying, and I'll show you how to actually key and things like that. So that's just a reminder. I'm sorry, Jessica.
Oh no, that's pretty much it. I was just gonna take questions before Eugene takes it away for photography. Well, like Photoshop. Any other questions? Okay, well, the final thing I'll explain is how to export. I'm not going to actually export, but I'll sure lead you to right before I press the button. The main way to export is File, Export, Export Media. So once you have finalized everything and you're proud of it, you're going to see a window like this. The settings that we want are the settings that are automatic to me because I know we want them. So for format, again, you don't have to memorize this. I used to just ask every time whenever I was about to export, like, hey, what are the settings? And that's chill. Again, you can just ask me again whenever you need these, but format, we want H.264. And then preset, we usually want match source, high bitrate. Your output name is whatever the title of the file will be when you export it. Kevin has raised his hand. Hello, Kevin.
Yeah, this is exactly, you're doing it exactly right. But if you guys look at the source real quick, it says 920 by 1080. And this gets a lot of people confused sometimes. This is where, when I first started exporting, I got confused. You can see that there's 29.973. That is called your frame rates per second. So a lot of cell phones you can do at 4K or you can do at 1080, 60 frames a second. It makes it look a lot different, but you got to make sure that your frame rate's the same or you'll have skipped. It'll look like the video skipping. So for example, when you guys are starting to do film or videoing, make sure that you guys all have the same settings on your phone. Like, okay, we're doing it all at 30 frames a second. And that way, when you're editing it, it'll make things a lot easier when you're putting it into your timeline and exporting it. And then 920 by 1080 is high definition. Double that is 4K. So just to let you know, I would recommend if you guys are doing film, 1080 30 is usually the standard in video. 24, which I don't know if some phones have it. I know my phone does, but I have an iPhone 12. But some phones don't have it, that they do 24 frame rate. 24 frame rate is like more cinema. It's less frames per second. So it makes it look a little more cinema style. So everything that you see in movies has a different look than if you were watching it, say, a TV show or a YouTube clip, because of that frames per second. I just wanted to make sure, so when you guys start doing video a little bit, that your frames per second, it's super important to make sure you look at your source when you're exporting.
Yes, indeed. And then for the final steps, at least on this left side, this is just where you can go frame by frame and look through the clip. And yeah, so then you just press this export button here and then wait your time. And then do whatever you need to do. But yeah,
Also make sure that your output name, you have your output name correctly. And then also make sure that when you click it, that you're actually sending it to a folder that you know where it's going. I've had many times where I have done what she's done without knowing where my video went, and that's not good either. So just make sure you guys put it into a folder that you know.
Yeah.
The rules are in video that you keep everything in one same folder. So you keep your video files, you keep your editing files, everything in one folder, so you know where everything's at.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions?
Wait, sorry, I just ran into one. If you want to put like an effects like template on your video, Do you just drag and drop it directly on? Mine's like trying to
Yeah.
like split off in the beginning.
It matters which one you're putting on, because if it's like a transition, then what you can't put that like dead center in a video or something. So let's say I wanted to like film dissolve, you can only like drag those. Well, I just let go of it. Well, there it goes. You can only drag those to the beginning or like end of videos, because that's like the only place your transition.
The only
can
time
go.
you can do cross dissolves is if you have two different, either
Yeah.
what she says in the beginning or end, or if you have two clips together, like, and then you could put that right in the middle of those two clips. So if you have like two clips that are cut, like say she had another clip in there and it wasn't one full clip, then you could put the cross dissolve in there like that too. Is that what you're looking at, Emma?
Yeah, for like the oh gosh.
Why don't you
it's
share?
like-
Why don't you share your? You have the ability to share your screen. Why don't you show Jessica and us what you're looking at? That way we can take a look at it.
Okay.
But no pressure.
Well, I'm saying that people. I mean, this is a good way of learning how to edit too.
Sorry, it's just like a really crusty video. Just don't mind
Yeah.
her.
I've seen worse.
Oh God. Okay. Sorry, I have not shared my screen in a while. This is like foreign territory. Like if I try to do
Oh, the
like
graphics. Okay.
yeah, I don't know if I'm doing it right because like
Oh yeah, you had to go to the different part because that's an intro or exit.
oh
Or
okay.
what you can do is if you like take that sidebar of your video, like the scroll bar, and you can like make your video smaller, you can drag your graphics on top of your video.
Yeah, see, video 2 is where it's supposed to go at, Emma. So you're supposed to put it on top of video 2.
Oh
So put it on
So
top.
like yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
And now put it on top over you. You can actually move that down, and then now that should be on top of you. So now if you put your cursor on that blue cursor on top, you should have there. You go.
oh okay.
Just remember, guys, that it's very simple in video. Whatever's on top is going to be the thing that's going to be seen, no matter what.
Okay, thank you.
No, that's a good question. That's a good good thing to ask.
Any other questions before Eugene takes it away? I'll take that as you're good for now. If not, we'll always come back to it. But Eugene, you go for it. I'm gonna go get some water, but feel free to.
Alrighty, so
Hey, Eugene, can you your audio's a little bit soft. Can you raise your audio up a little bit?
audio, hold on. Yeah, I'm a video person. Does this work or?
Yes, much better. You guys all agree?
Yeah.
Go for it, Eugene. You can share your screen. Go for it.
Okay. Okay. Alrighty. So when you open up Photoshop, you should be with the screen, isn't it? And then, like in Premiere, you just open this, and then choose your favorite photo. They have your any image format should work. So let's just choose for now. Okay. And now we're here with this screen. And one thing I should explain about Photoshop first is that there is a like in video, there's a sort of layer system. So basically, Photoshop works on a system called layers, and then the layers on top will show up first, and then it will always show up over the bottom layers. So, and in addition, you can also make edits using these layers, and then so if you go to up here to layer new, you can make it either a new blank layer like this, or you can make a copy of that layer. And it's a good idea to make copies of your background layer in case you want to like do things that require information on that layer. And you might want to do this to avoid permanently editing your background layer in case you need to make any changes. And that's one of the benefits of the layer system. So another, you can make, hold on. You can also alter the basic characteristics of the photo itself, like you could do in Lightroom. For example, if you go to, say, brightness and contrast, you can make a new adjustment layer, and then which you can change the brightness and the contrast of the photo itself.
Hey, Eugene, how did you get that?
Oh, sorry.
Like, did you double click on the layer or did you make a new one?
If you click on the, I'm not sure what it, can you guys see my cursor? Or,
Yes.
because, okay, it should be on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, and it says, click on the one that looks like a diagonal circle, a semicircle thing, like a circle with a half of it dark, and then there's a button to create a new adjustment layer, and you can also do this through, say, it's probably an edit. Apologies, I'm more experienced in Lightroom than this, but the concepts in both Lightroom and Photoshop are pretty similar. And okay, it's not that that's out of the way. We should go to talk about how to select things. Oh, and in case you forget about the function of the tools, apparently a new version of Photoshop will provide you with these different tooltips that you can use to figure out what the function of the tool. So this lasso tools allows you to make freeform selections, which then you can do whatever you want with them. But a cool thing about this is this magic wand tool, which uses AI to figure out where the corners or the where the edges of something is, and then you can basically use that to kind of quickly select things. And you can switch between different tools by right-clicking. If you let's say you right-click on, say, the magic wand tool, you can change between the different tools here. And so we have a lot of different tools right here. We have, these are all the selection tools right now. Then we have the crop tool, and then we also have this eyedropper tool here, which allows you to select the color, and you can paint the color to the brush tool here. And there's a bunch of other tools. So in essence, you can just paint things like this. And it's a good idea to do this on, actually I shouldn't be doing this on the background layer. So you should be doing this on a separate layer up here. So then in case you make a mistake, so you can just erase that part, erase the layer itself, or erase that part of that layer, and then it won't affect the background layer itself. The background will remain untouched. So you can always try again. Like, let's say I don't like this, I can just delete it or review it, make it invisible. So then you can basically undo your mistake that way. And but another way is Control Z is your friend as well. Control Z and Control Shift Z. Control Z undoes your last step, while Control Shift Z redos your step. It's not like other tools where Control Y is a redo. Oh, and here's a fun tool. Clone Stamp allows you to basically is exactly what it says. Clone parts your image. So let's say you want to clone this part of the image. I'll use hold down your Alt key or the Option key on a Mac, and select any part of the image, and then wait. Well, did I get this wrong? Give me a sec. Oh, make sure you select your layer first, and then you can. Don't know why this is not working. Like I said, I'm not too familiar with this. Oh, I see. Okay. So basically, you want to clone this. I press Alt to select where it needs to be cloned, and then now that it's already selected, I can basically just draw in that image at another place, kind of like this here. Okay. And there's the eraser tool. So let's say I want to erase the stuff I made here. You can go to eraser and then just start erasing here. And then it only affect the background, only affect like whatever you drew. It won't affect, say, the background layer. Because if you start erasing, say, the background layer, then it's permanently gone in a sense. You can't really get it back unless you undo. Oh, and then basically, and another cool tool here is the healing brush tool. So basically, say, let's say I want this navy here. Like, you can just circle it. Wait, that's not the right brush. Spot healing tool. So if you cover it of this navy and poof, it's gone. Basically, you use AI to figure out where it is and how to remove it. So if I want this red stripe, poof, is kind of gone. The technology is a bit finicky, but you can see, and there's also other tools like you have your text tool here. So wait, just type some stuff here. Okay. Am I going too fast? Is everyone good so far? Okay. So, oh, another tool here is the hand tool. This allows you to just pan through, and if you look at top of the screen, there's these buttons up here, and then the 100% basically zooms in to the pixel level. So 1 pixel on your screen equals 1 pixel in the image, of course, and the fit screen zooms in to fit the screen, fill zooms in to fill the screen, and so on. Cool. And to zoom in here, this is the zoom to here. You can either do this, you can or you can undo zoom like this, or you can do alt scroll or option scroll on a Mac to zoom in and out. Oh, and another way to quickly change your brush size, like say if I want to quickly make this harder, and hardness basically refers to like how defined are the edges. The harder the brush, the more abrupt the changes. So you can hold Alt and right click, and if you adjust it, just mouse left or right, that increases the size of the brush. You want to make it adjust the brush up and down. That increases the hardness of the brush. So I can have it ultra hard small thing. So like you said, if you make your brush hard, it's gonna be, the edges are not gonna be as fuzzy as say a soft brush, and that's one easier way to change it. Oh, okay. So is everyone good so far? Okay. Oh, and if you click on a layer itself, this is a duplicate layer button that you can use to make copies of your background and stuff. This is especially helpful for like things like dodging and burning, which in image terms allows you to basically lighten and darken parts of your image. So right now here, if I want to make this brighter, it can be like this. If I say I want to make the shadow parts darker, it can be like this. And okay. Oh, Jessica said that I should explain color balance and that kind of concept. So basically, hue, saturation, and luminance allows you to change the overall color, saturation, or I want to say a brightness in a sense, or how bright each color is. So, which is kind of different from brightness or exposure, but yeah. So basically, saturation changes how intense the colors are. Hue changes how I'm guessing a tint, like and that's a general sense. Oh, I should also discuss blending modes. So if you go into if you look onto your layers tab, there should be a a blend mode adjuster, and you basically change how it works. Like say luminosity, it only to take into account how bright each pixel is. It won't take into account, say, the color value of the image, and as vice versa for color. And that can be used to say change the brightness and so on. Okay. I think that's it for now. I think we covered a pretty good share of Photoshop and stuff. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, Eugene's pretty good at fielding questions here, if you guys ever have them later too.
Yeah. Oh, I should also finally mention that there's a help button up in here, and then basically you can search up tutorials on various things, or you can use the internet. Oh, and Photoshop's being helpful, saying there's a help button here as well. Okay.
Yeah, any questions before we move back into like trailer stuff?
Eugene, you did a good job. Just one thing too is like you with Photoshop, and same thing with editing and anything that you could do just about anything that you want to do. So just remember that when you guys are making your poster, Eugene will be here to help a little bit. So like he can actually, you know, or anybody that wants to start learning a little bit more about that, that is an option when you start learning about like exactly what you want. Same thing with video. You'll have Jessica here to help you out a little bit. You know, to be able to, you know, ask questions. So you guys feel free to ask questions, but I think, yeah, right now is a good point for you guys to figure out what you're doing, because you will be starting tomorrow really to start really doing it. And like what I said before, feel free that if you want to meet or do anything after session hours, you guys are willing to. I know that the other team is, so, but there's no pressure on that. I think that you guys are on par and doing a good job. So I'll leave it back to Jessica.
Okay, great. Let me bring up this dump doc that we have here, and then I'll share it. We're gonna try to break things down a bit. And which tab? There it is. Okay. Okay, so now that you've got vague information on video editing, vague information on photo editing, all the excitement in the world, I feel it. How's everybody doing?
You're doing fantastic, Jessica.
Great to hear.
Great, great. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. We're all live, we're all awake, we're all happy to be here at 10:15 in the morning. So, a little review of last time. Last time we pretty much just went over this timeline here. This is a pretty vague timeline that I've got. Thank you for joining us, Irina. It was very fun. But yeah, so then we've got this list of ideas. So I think, so it's a group idea, so we're gonna advance this idea a bit, and then we're going to figure out kind of what people want to do a bit more, so then we can get you guys doing more with what you want to be doing.